ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवती अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणे वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम. Namaskar and welcome to Hinduism in Focus, brought to you with the compliments of Sanatan Vedic Dharma Pandit Sabha of Region 3. Today we will continue from where we left off, where we have examined chapter 5 of verse 5 of chapter 7 of the Geeta, in which Krishna is telling us, and he's catering for all classes of people, those that are not so knowledgeable and those that are also knowledgeable. Firstly, he tells us that most of the people of the world, they can only connect with the things around them, the objective world, and only a little of the higher world, that is the spiritual world or divinity as such. So he firstly pointed out that his lower nature, that is God, is the elements that the world is made up of, such as water, air, fire, ether, earth, plus the other elements that control or allow us to more so feel the operation or the cosmic function of the world, which are the ego, the mind, and the intellect. He says this is his lower nature. The higher nature is a life element behind all of this, upon which the universe is upheld. Therefore, Lord says that all the 5 elements and the 3 internal organs, the mind, the ego, and the intellect, when put together, they form what we say the inferior constituent of the Lord. That is the secondary aspect. But the cosmic life principle, or the sum total of the Jiva Atman, the soul, is a superior constituent. So this divine life behind all forms is superior. It's a primary aspect of God. For example, the smoke that emanates from fire is the lower nature of fire, and the spark is its higher nature. The characteristic of the fire is that in the sparks, while its action is in the smoke. Like, for example, technically put, the smoke is the tatstava lakshmanam, that is, it is the accidental definition of the fire, and the spark is the swarupa lakshanam, the innate definition. And knowing this, knowing that the spark is equivalent to knowing the fire, so it's act as an accessory or a transit point to knowing the fire. The spark suggests that there is something greater, that is the fire. So in that same way, this pure consciousness, which is the Param Atman, is inherent in the Jiva Atman, in us. And the spark is that which has separated itself from the fire. But the Jiva Atman has not and cannot be disassociated from the Param Atman, the Supreme Self. As the wave in the ocean, the individual soul is ever in the cosmic soul, through which its limiting adjuncts. And so here we see that Lord will tell us very clearly, in fact he's pointing out to us that in a similar way in which the spark and the smoke and the spark is that the smoke is a lower element or nature of the fire, but the spark presents an accessory or transit point to God. In that similar way, he says that this objective world, which constitute these 5 elements and plus the intellect, the ego, and the mind, that they should present a transitory point to the higher self that is God. So therefore we must use this world, this is how Hinduism puts it, we must use this world, everything around us, for a divine cause. The wealth that we have must be used for a divine cause. The objects that we own must be used for a divine cause. It is then when man becomes spiritual, when he understands that all that he has actually comes from a background of divinity, and therefore every possession must be used in service of that divinity. This is what makes us God conscious. So Lord therefore went on now to tell us about his higher self, and how this higher self of God, that this divine self, the primary self of God, like in the case of the fire, how it functions in the universe. Here is what the Lord says. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Mataha Pararamna Nyan Kanchit Ashti Dhanjanaya Mai Sarvam Idam Proktam Sutre Manigana Iva. Lord says in verse 7 of chapter 7 now, he says that there is nothing whatsoever, O Dhananjaya, Arjuna, all this is strung to me as a rose of gem on a string. So Lord says that there is nothing whatsoever that is higher than me, God. And everything in the world is strung onto God as a row of gems on a string. So the string of a necklace, it goes through all the number of gems. Each one of them, regardless of their color, their style, their shape, it is one thread that unifies everything. In that same way, the world is made up of a variety of things. Different people, different objects, different successes, various countries having different kinds of development. But all in all, there is only one commonality. There is only one divinity. There is only one thing that runs through all. And that is the one power, the only power and the only truth, that is God, which Krishna has become a manifested aspect of, and he's given us this knowledge. So in that same way, everything run throughs, God too run throughs everything in the world. Everything is strung onto him as a row of gem on a string. So the producer, therefore, the sustainer, and the withdrawer of the universe is therefore God, Ishvara. And there is no power extraneous to him. Nothing is outside of God, according to Hinduism. And this perhaps contrasts with some modern belief system. However, Hinduism puts everything in a concise form so that we may be able to rise to this great realization. So there is no power outside of God to interfere with the works of God. And this power, for example, great or small, does not exist. Nothing is higher than God. The gem strung may be vary in color and species, as I have pointed out, but its supporting string is the same all through. The universe sustained by the Lord may, in that fashion, vary in their appearances, but the sustainer of them all, that which holds everything together, is the same, the Lord. That is why in the Sanskrit language, the word sutra means string. The Lord is therefore called Sutraman, that the string-like supporter of the manifested world, this physical world. That is why we come to other belief systems in Sanatana Dharma, where we believe in the functioning of God as the creator. We call him Brahma, and we develop an amount of mythology and stories around it, and we worship. Then we say the same power, that is the string that runs through everything, also is the protector. We call it Vishnu, he who has entered into the world. And we develop systems of worship, various sects, and we worship Vishnu as a benign Lord. And he who withdraws everything, corrects everything, the renovator, we say he is Shiva. That same element becomes Shiva. All in all, one power functioning in various aspects, and we call it the Trinity in Hinduism. the pure consciousness, which is a subtractum of all beings, sentient and insentient, is to say. So all things, whether moving or not moving, they are what we say pervaded by the supreme and pure consciousness that is God. In this same way, we in our methodological works, we have also created this form called Ardhana Ishvara, the half man and half woman form, that God is inside of all. God is Purusha, the spirit, represented as male form, and the Prakriti represented as a female form, and we worship the divine as that. In our methodological works and our secondary belief system, we have these kind of murtis and stories also. They were meant to inspire us to this high Vedantic ideal that Sri Krishna brings to fore in this Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that helps us to understand. So we are starting at that level. Therefore, Lord makes it objective in the form of the Murti, the mythology, so that we can rise to this higher conception as presented in the Bhagavad Gita by none other than the Supreme and Blessed Lord. So Sri Krishna cares for us, this great reformer, that he has come to shed light on these important ideas, all in all helping us to rise towards realization of divinity, the achievement of siddhi or spiritual success, the attainment of divinity. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.